Mwiroreri wa Kameme TV ni Jume Gijega na twina mwini gothi kuma kure mwena wa Jamaica na iwa dakwira mwini gothi ukamenya niwe ukoinire nyimbo ta Big Ship and na ingĩ nyingĩ na umuthi ndirakwira twina Freddie McGregor. Well,
my pleasure.
Welcome to Kenya, Freddie.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, actually.
How is it so far?
Great. We just got back from the national park, so
Already gone to the national
I'm still
park?
buzzing. Yes.
Yes. How was it?
Beautiful.
You love it?
Love it. We saw different types of animals, and that's me. I'm a kind of wildlife person, you know.
Oh, really?
So I enjoy that very much.
Interesting.
Yes.
When I heard you were coming, I was a bit shocked because you've been doing music for a very long time. You've toured the world, but you've never come to perform in Kenya.
And you know, it's mind-boggling because I always wondered to myself, why haven't I been to Kenya yet?
Exactly, why?
And,
Tell me.
I don't know, I guess the Father has this thing worked out.
Yes.
And when the timing is right, it was going to happen.
Yes.
And then we had Ed Cornerstone Entertainment.
Yes.
Just came through and decided they were going to do it. And I have to say, big respect.
Yeah.
Jamhuri Reggae Festival, we talked about it. We attempted to make it work last year. We had some little issues, but we were determined for it to continue. So we didn't mind the many miles that we flew here because I wanted to be here. And I'm so happy that we're finally here.
Karibu sana.
Kenya.
Karibu sana. And Freddie, your songs are very profound. They're very deep.
Thank you.
They're very deep. And
I try.
You have very many songs. I was trying to understand, how is your writing process like?
To be honest with you, back in Jamaica, we're African-minded people. The struggle is what we deal with nearly all our lives. And not just Kenya, Ethiopia, Liberia, wherever. We stay focused because we are African people and we know that. So the African struggle is always our struggle. And we fight hard in the West. We do fight hard through our songs. Even when Dada Mandela was in prison, every night we fought, free Dada, free Mandela. So, you know, we're part of that movement through our songs. And I've always said, when the Father said, the singers and players of instruments shall be there, for all my springs are in thee, I took that very personal. Because if my springs are in him to do his work, and I'm the happiest camper, because that's all I would ever want to do his work. Meaning I'm going to use the music to the best of my ability, to the best I can, to uplift and to educate our people. And that's what it's about. So profound.
And by the time you were starting reggae music, that was a while back, actually.
Well, I started it when it was ska.
Yes, it was,
Yes, and then we watched it evolve to rock steady. And then we have reggae, we have dancehall, and we have everything today.
What is the difference between then and now?
It's very different. Back in the early days when I started, it was almost the beginning of our music form. So there was a different level of excitement, a different level of creativity. You know, all these great musicians who have just graduated from big music school we have called Alpha School of Music, they were bent on coming out to show what they had and what they could do. And that combination of horn players, guitar players, bass, drummer, with the knowledge that they came from Alpha with, it just exploded into this one great music form. And I ended up being one of those child stars, if you may, based on when I started at 7 years old. So I grew to know...
Quite young, 7 years?
Well, very young.
How did you find yourself in the studio?
I don't know. I ended up in Kingston with some friends who were very popular. They're called the Clarendonians.
And what were you doing in a gig at 7? Oh, I know Jamaica is a music country.
I don't know myself either. I don't, because I didn't understand that either. But the honest truth, where we grew up in Jamaica, it's in the rural, in the country parts. And it always reminds me of Africa. Many places in Africa, our house, we didn't have a fancy house. We had dirt floor. What we call wackle and darb, you know, use the mud to, it's just like Africa, I can tell you. So I always wanted a way to help my mother, who had 8 children, and wasn't sure how it was going to work out.
What number
I'm the youngest of 8,
wow.
yes. And so in my community, all we have is sugar cane and sugar factories. So when the chance came for me to go to Kingston, I wouldn't have passed. No, it was like going to New York. So I wouldn't pass up on that for anything.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I was going to.
Yeah.
But I went, I followed the spirit,
Yeah.
and I went. And as it turned out, it works perfectly for me. Yes, so I just humble my spirit and try to learn as I go along, learn it. I mean, it's a long tradition, and most of what I could say to you is going to be in my book. As I'm putting together a book about my life and reggae's history. We want to complete that book for this year.
This year?
So hopefully by the end of this year, I will have my book to tell that story.
I cannot wait to read it.
I know.
You've toured the world in many places.
Yes.
You have extensive experience when it comes to music. When I was reading, I saw that professionalism is one thing that you really hold high.
I didn't know you know so much about me either.
But what other things, apart from professionalism, that has kept you rooted and in the game?
Commitment.
Yes.
Commitment to the arts.
Yes.
And commitment to self.
Yes.
Commitment to the struggle.
Yes.
Because we can't leave the struggle out of it. I'll give you an example. In Jamaica, we used to watch on TV when apartheid took hold of South Africa.
Yes.
And we saw the pain, the agony, the struggle. We looked at the TVs in England and we see the same situation, the same brutality against our people. And we take that serious and personal. And those are some of the things that bring out certain lyrical contents out of us too. Because we're trying to fight against that system. And we're trying to make our voices heard. And we're trying to make sure that the people who are suppressed and oppressed have a voice through us. So, you know, some people take it more seriously than some, I think. But Marley, he went on a campaign definitely to expose evil and to talk to the people, the real people. And that's what we try to do as well. So it's a strong commitment that we never flinch, we never give up on. And we just continue. As for me personally, I love Africans so much.
Come live in Kenya.
No, you see, sometimes you have to be careful for the things you ask for because they may just happen. And I always say that. I always say that to myself. So I think one day it's going to be a reality. I know.
You'll be performing for us.
I love the mangoes here. We have nice mangoes in Jamaica. Sugarcane is one of my favorite things. We have everything here that we need, that we're accustomed to in Jamaica. But Kenya is such a beautiful country otherwise, and the people, just so great, beautiful people here. And culturally, I'm really impressed that people really try to maintain as much of their culture as possible. We just have to talk to the younger generation and get them to understand what it means to uphold your responsibility as a native of your country, you know, and how to move forward and having the vision to be what I'd say an assistance. Because you see, a lot of us are out there in the West, and I think a lot of people love Africa, but not seeing it firsthand makes a difference. Because yesterday I went to this village and I saw firsthand how much could be done for that village. People doesn't always have to live in those situations, but it does take some concerted effort on South, because we can shed the world of poverty, and we know that for sure.
And before we talk about your big concerts at KICC, there are people, young people who look up to you, upcoming reggae artists who look up to you. Have you made some mistakes in the journey that you tell them to avoid, and what would you tell them?
I would tell them to, especially as it relates to music, there are a couple of things you need to do. Having the talent is one, but that's not all.
Preach, yes.
So having the talent is great, but you also have to understand the business that you're in.
Music business.
Yes, because it's music, business.
Yes.
Yes. Music, business. So I'm appealing to all the upcoming entertainers all across the continent to make sure there's a reason why God creates lawyers. Sometimes in Jamaica we refer to them as liars, but they play an important role just the same. And they go to school and they study how to read contracts, where a lot of us haven't had that opportunity. So we rely on them to help us to do the right things. Just singing music is not enough. One of my things always as a youth coming up, I always wanted to have control I wanted to have control over my work. Sometimes I do a song, it becomes popular, it's not on my label. I'm saying, wow, I wish that one was on my label. But you just have to keep fighting and keep making until you make some good ones for your label also, because you need to maintain what you own. And a lot of the problems that we face in music is that a lot of entertainers end up sell their rights.
It's true. And sometimes
not deliberately, by not understanding contracts. And you get a contract and you see a word called perpetuity. And you yourself don't understand that. It means for the rest of your life. So you sign this document and you sign it over to somebody for the rest of your life. So it's important to get people who understand these things to assist you so you don't lose your rights, lose your creativity, and has nothing like we see in the past. This is time to take hold of our future, take hold of everything that we own, and move forward with that mindset.
So, this is going to be very weird. What is that one weird thing that you have done in your life?
Weird thing?
Yes.
You know, I never usually practice to the weird things, you know. Because as a youth growing up, I read all my Bible and stuff. The fear of the Lord really take hold of me, you know. So when you do that, you don't want to do anything wrong, you know what I'm saying?
That one, Freddie?
Yeah, there are maybe a couple, but I'm not thinking about it now. I can't remember it so well.
You sure?
I'm sure so far.
Okay.
I'm not. All right. In Jamaica, you ask people about Freddie McGregor, they'll say he's a gentleman. No, honestly, because my name, you know, I don't make myself less than what I'm supposed to be, and I have responsibilities, and I have people who look up to me, and so I have to conduct myself in that kind of manner. And we are teachers for the younger generation too, so we always have to be careful that we say the right things, do the right things, because a lot of people look to us to do the right things. So I don't find myself doing much of weird things, but I'm still trying to think of what may be one of the weird things that I've done. And I'm not remembering it.
KICC Saturday.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the thing that that interests me most now is to actually go and see what the venue looks like. Because I tell you something, when you arrive in any country, any city for a concert, one of the things you always want to do mostly is to see where you're going to be. It gives you a sense of, I'm not even sure what word it is, but it gives you a sense of comfort. Okay, this is where I'm going to be. This is where the stage is going to be.
All I can tell you is massive enough. It's going to hold all your fans because you have quite a huge fan base here in Kenya.
Well, since we arrived at the airport, I've seen quite a bit of it, and I was truly impressed. At that hour of the night, to see so many people come out to the airport was truly a blessing. So I'm just looking forward to it, and I can tell you one thing. What brings me here is the love of the people. And the fact that the people love our music. It's not an easy thing to travel so many miles to go to any place. But I would give up a lot of stuff to come to Kenya, because I know the people are here waiting for the message, and they're waiting for Freddie, and I'm waiting for them too. So Saturday night, I can't wait. I can't wait. With culture, it's going to be off the chain, and that's why I keep saying we don't want anyone to miss this event, because this is going to be such a special concert. Yes, it is going to be.
And really, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For being here, and we're gonna come out in huge numbers.
My pleasure.
All of us there.
I don't know. You'll see me here for sure soon. Thereafter again too. Because we're not letting up. Kameme TV. We're not letting up.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. God bless you.
God bless you.
Greetings. This is yours, Freddie McGregor, and whenever I'm in Kenya, I always tune into Share Reggae on Kameme TV.